This will be indeed the golden age of America.
Now on Watching Washington, President Trump is unveiling his new tariff policy to the world.
Plus, Senator Booker set a new record for the longest continuous Senate floor speech.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin pushes forward with the country's biannual expansion of the army. From the Brian Lamb School of Communication, this is Watching Washington. I'm Connor Sutterly.
And I'm Morgan Kane.
President Trump unveiled his new tariff policy to the world Wednesday, declaring this Liberation Day. It marked a major shift intended to boost American manufacturing and reshape trade relationships with the world. While speaking to a crowd in the White House Rose Garden, he announced an at least 10% tariff on practically all goods coming into the United States, plus even higher rates on dozens of countries that have the highest trade deficits with the United States. Starting April 5th, that across-the-board tariff kicks in, and then April 9th, higher rates will hit about 60 countries with large U.S. trade deficits. Those targeted include China, Vietnam, and the European Union, each facing steeper levies under what Trump calls a reciprocal tariff plan. China will see tariffs around 34%, Vietnam about 46%, and the EU close to 20%. Trump's order exempts Canada and Mexico under existing trade agreements, but adds to existing tariffs, including 25% duties on steel, aluminum, and new round on cars and auto parts. The administration says the plan will reduce the trade deficit, generate revenue, and bring manufacturing back to the U.S.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country, and you see it happening already. We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. And ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back, and we're going to come back very strongly.
Economists warn that new tariffs could raise prices on food, energy, and everyday goods. As the international community assesses the impact of Trump's new tariff announcement, a number of America's trade partners pledged ahead of time to retaliate quickly, including the European Union, Mexico, Canada, China, Japan, and South Korea. The world now watches to see whether Trump's Liberation Day marks a new era of American prosperity or a costly escalation in international trade tensions.
The Associated Press reported that Democratic Senator Cory Booker took the Senate floor Monday night and held it for a little over 25 hours. Booker set a new record for the longest continuous Senate floor speech. The record was previously held by Strom Thurmond, who filibustered for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. During his control of the floor, he criticized himself and fellow Democrats, saying they must do more to fight the Trump administration.
I confess that I've been inadequate to the moment. I confess that the Democratic Party has made terrible mistakes, that have given lane to this demagogue. I confess we all must look in the mirror and say we will do better. And it's not just defining ourselves what we're against. We, the next generation, as the baby boomers are leaving the stage, the last baby boomer president, we have to say that we're going to redeem the dream. We're going to dream America anew. We're going to start talking about bold things that don't divide people, that unite people. Bold things that excite the moral imagination of a country to do better, to go higher, that call us together. This is the time where new leaders in our country must emerge. I'm not talking about senators. I'm talking about citizens.
Two congresswomen, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican from Florida, and Representative Brittany Peterson, a Democrat from Colorado, has temporarily halted business in the U.S. House of Representatives as they fight to allow proxy voting for new parents.
I was raised to where if you see something wrong, you say something, and right now I see something wrong, so I'm saying something, and I think that it's important to have family voices in Washington, but it's also equally important to ensure that female representatives are given a platform and that we can still vote. I mean, you can't help childbirth. It's a very natural thing.
Peterson and Luna stood together on the steps of the Capitol, demanding change. Their bipartisan push aims to give members of Congress up to 12 weeks of remote voting following the birth of a child, a measure that House Speaker Mike Johnson has repeatedly attempted to block. But despite his efforts, Luna and Peterson gained enough support, including 9 from Republicans, to derail a special rule designed to shut down their proposal. As a result, Johnson was forced to cancel all House business for the rest of the week, putting key Republican legislation on hold. The speaker responded to the defeat, calling the situation disappointing and vowing to revisit the issue. He maintains that proxy voting would do great violence to the institution and could set a dangerous precedent. Meanwhile, Luna, who even resigned from the House Freedom Caucus over the matter, continues to push back against her own party leaders. Peterson, a mother herself, calls Luna a fierce champion and says the fight is about changing the way Congress works to support parents. President Donald Trump this past Thursday backed the effort to allow remote voting, directly inserting himself into the legislative dispute that made business halt this week.
Former Florida State Senator Randy Fine won this special election, securing a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives for Florida's 6th Congressional District. On April 1st at his campaign headquarters in Ormond Beach, Randy Fine delivered his victory speech amid cheers from supporters. He thanked his family, volunteers, and voters for their support and pledged to bring conservative values to Capitol Hill. Randy Fine stated that his top priorities include promoting economic growth, reforming education, and strengthening border security. He emphasized that he will speak up for Florida families and push back against Washington bureaucracy. The special election was held after former Congressman Mike Waltz resigned. Fine's victory keeps the seat under Republican control, though his margin of victory was narrower than previous Republican wins in the district. The Republicans also won the other seat available in this election, with Jimmy Patrons' win in District 1.
Judge Susan Crawford defeated Judge Brad Schimmel in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, securing a 4-3 liberal majority in the state's highest court. The election, held on April 1st, drew national attention and became the most expensive judicial contest in U.S. history, with nearly $100 million spent by both sides. High-profile donors, including billionaire Elon Musk, who contributed over $20 million to support Schimmel, played a role in shaping the race. Crawford's victory maintains the court's balance in favor of liberal justices, which could influence future decisions on abortion laws, legislative redistricting, and union policies. Republicans view the loss as a potential sign of challenges ahead in the midterm elections, while Democrats celebrated the win as a crucial judicial shift. With control of the court unchanged, major cases on state voting rules and abortion rights are expected to be reviewed in the coming months.
Following layoffs at the Department of Health and Human Services, a former employee, Max Schroeder, approached Indiana Senator Jim Banks to address the impact of job losses on social services. Senator Banks replied, "You probably deserved it," and labeled Schroeder a clown as he stepped onto the elevator. This discussion, captured on video, has aroused significant outrage online. Senator Banks replied in an online post stating, "The Democrats and the left-wing media have lost their minds because I told a left-wing activist in the halls of the Senate office buildings yesterday what I really thought."
Up next, New York City Mayor Eric Adams is having his case dismissed.
Plus, a Maryland father is deported by mistake. Stay with us. More Watching Washington next.
From Spain. G'day, mates. Buenos dias.
Bonjour.
Hello from South Korea.
I'm studying abroad in Valencia, Spain this semester. I'm studying abroad in Sydney, Australia. I'm studying abroad in Madrid, Spain.
Studying at Seoul National University.
At Issai Super-Héros in Toulouse, France.
And I'm really getting to enjoy meeting all the new people and the culture.
How different it is from Purdue University.
It is an absolutely fantastic experience. I'm living my best life.
I can't wait to see you guys all overseas soon. A bientôt.
Adios. Nos vemos de España.
I'm Rachel. I'm 19 years old. I'm a sophomore in computer engineering here at Purdue, and I'm the president of DAO. So DAO stands for Dance All Out, and it's kind of like a community where all dancers of different skill levels and artists have a space to express themselves and be artists and perform. We perform at things like the AAA Night Market and the VA, the Variation Showcase, at the end of the semester. We even had our own showcase last year, and that was really exciting. DAO not only offers like weekly classes and performance opportunities, but kind of like a really strong community/family to do it with. When people talk about college, or when you see in like coming of age movies, it's all about like the main character finding like the place where they belong, whether it's in school or like extracurricular or like with their friends or another hobby. But like this could be the place where you find like your coming of age moment, and like it could be the place where you discover like a big part of your life.
Russian President Vladimir Putin pushes forward with the country's biannual expansion of the army. This announcement comes in the wake of a ceasefire over the Black Sea and Russia's war with Ukraine. This push aims to recruit 160,000 men over the course of about 3 months. This is the largest expansion of the army in 3 years. According to the Russian outlet TASS, going from 1 million to 1.5 million members now, this move will help push back forces in Kyiv, as Russia has sought help from North Korea against Ukrainian advances. Putin makes this move despite U.S. efforts to end the war. U.S. negotiations with both sides will continue.
The judge overseeing the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams has dismissed the charges against him. In a split with the Trump administration, the judge ordered that the charges cannot be brought again. The DOJ's efforts to drop the case and retain the ability to restore charges resulted in the mass resignation of several Justice Department officials. Adams was accused of accepting illegal campaign contributions, bribery, wire fraud, and conspiracy to solicit a contribution from a foreign national. In his decision, the judge wrote that allowing charges to be refiled would create the perception that the mayor's freedom depends on his ability to carry out the Trump administration's immigration enforcement priorities. He concluded that the decision ensures that the charges cannot be used as leverage against Adams or the city. Adams has denied any wrongdoing.
A Maryland father who was deported last month to El Salvador is now suing several federal officials.
The error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error. The administration maintains the position that this individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. That is fact number one. Fact number two, we also have credible intelligence proving that this individual was involved in human trafficking. And fact number three, this individual was a member, actually a leader of the brutal MS-13 gang, which this president has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Fact number four is that foreign terrorists do not have legal protections in the United States of America anymore. And it is within the president's executive authority and power to deport these heinous individuals from American communities.
According to the lawsuit, Abrego Garcia does not have a criminal history and has never been charged with a crime in the U.S., El Salvador, or any other country. As an El Salvador native, a judge granted him federal protection in 2019, which should have prevented him from being sent to his native country. His attorneys say the only evidence present of his gang ties were allegations by a confidential informant and the fact that Abrego Garcia was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie at the time of his arrest.
Indiana University fired computer science professor Xiaofeng Wan on the same day the FBI searched his homes in Bloomington and Carmel. Neighbors say agents used a megaphone to order people outside before collecting evidence. Wan was already under university investigation after a grant application. The university's union has protested the termination, claiming the university did not follow its own procedures. The FBI has not shared details about the case, and there are no confirmed charges against Wan or his wife, Nianli Ma, at the time.
Hundreds of Harvard faculty members signed a letter urging the university to resist any demands from the Trump administration that might interfere with the school's independence. The letter also wants Harvard to publicly condemn the administration's attacks against the country's universities. 800 faculty members signed the letter just days before the White House announced federal grant funding cuts at the school. A Trump administration task force is currently reviewing billions of dollars in federal grants and contracts that the government has with Harvard. It's part of a move to crack down on what the administration says is anti-Semitism on college campuses. The administration accuses Harvard of not doing enough to address anti-Semitism on campus and says the school is not protecting students during protests Harvard's president sent a letter to the school's community saying that they would work with the government's task force.
That's all the time we have today.
Thank you for watching. See you next time on Watching Washington.